Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DrewCast, episode 103. I got some sad news today, guys. I did a couple. I mentioned this earlier, about a month or two ago. But one of the biggest supporters of this channel, of our music, actually, I would say a close friend of mine. I mentioned her before, Fran. She's, for people who are new, she's actually the person that we named the Fantastic Review after, because when she had disclosed to me that, hey, I'm going to be passing away, like this is getting really bad, I told her I wanted to honor her, which she gave me the okay for that. So we made the Fantastic Review, which we're gonna continue doing that because I think it's just she even said it herself. Like, it's just, the name is so perfect for like reviewing, fantastic. It was like such a perfect mix on words. And today I got the news that she had passed away. Her son Alex told me. I mean, obviously in the moment, like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was just like staring off into space when he told me, and I was like, because she had told me that this was going to happen. And she was being honest with me, like, hey, this isn't gonna, I'm probably don't have a lot of months. Like, this is gonna come fast. So, I almost didn't want to do an episode today. Like, I was like really close to like telling you this and like, hey, maybe we should probably not do it today. Then her son, like, basically told me something that like kind of changed my mind on today. Or, and I asked her son, I said, hey, are you guys having like a any type of service for her? Like, what, if you guys do, can you please let me know? And he said that his mom basically didn't want people to like gather and be sad. She didn't want people to like, cry and be sad. She wants us to be happy. She wants us to celebrate the life that we have, the life that we still have. She wants us to party. She wants us to have fun. She wants us to be happy. And when he told me that, like, I looked up into this clouds, and I was like, bro, Fran, go on, you're not going to let me not do an episode tonight. Cause she was a huge supporter of the show. And I know she'd tell me like, nah, you better do an episode, motherfucker. I know she would tell me that, dude. Cause we would talk to each other like that. That's what I loved about her. We would gossip at work. We would talk hella shit about everything. Like, we said the most offensive jokes to each other because she loved that type of humor, dude. And we just became really good friends. And there was times that she would share and comment on our videos more than family and friends would. Fran was a ride or die, bro. And every single week she'd be like, hey, I love the show. Like, she used to love the episodes of me, you, and Josh. She straight up told me like, hey, when you, Justin, and Josh get together, like, I crack up. I die the whole episode. That's why I told Josh one time, I said, hey, bro, one of the episodes he did, I think is when we talked about Flat Earth. I was like, hey, we got to do an episode for my girl Franny, dude. Because she fucking loves when you're on the episode, dude. And just like being around her was cool. Like, you got to like, she just taught me a lot, She told me her life experiences and the good, the bad, and hearing her like insight on everything was really cool. And like, it sucks because I met her at work, and she fucking hated it, by the way. So she told, if you know her, you know that she hated it. But I wish that like life didn't, like, I told her this too, like when she had told me like the news of like, hey, I'm gonna be, this is gonna get bad, and she opened up and was honest to me. I told him, like, it kind of sucks that you had to spend so many years here, that like you couldn't just go, hey, I want to go and do this. I want to, So, yeah, I spent all day reflecting, because it's a huge loss to me personally, because not just like her being a supporter wise, but she was like an amazing friend. So later today, or like earlier today, when I was, I went to Tacoma for some shit, I went and stopped by a beach, and she had told me that, hey, if I ever die, or after this, if you I want to, she basically said, if you see a crow, because we're like really into crows, and that was one of the cool things me and her connected on. She said, if you see a crow, just know that's me. And so I went to the beach, I took some bread, and there's like hella crows there, and I just started feeding the crows, and it felt hella good, bro. Like, it felt hella good. I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Because like in life, the crow and the wolf have like a relationship. We call ourselves the wolf pack and WPOB, and I like really resonate with the wolf. So I used to tell her, I'm like, oh, that's really cool that you resonate with the crow, because like crows have like domesticated wolves and like kind of have like a friendship now. So it's like in life, it's like a cool symbol too, like the wolf and the crow. So anyways, yeah, from now on, you guys, if you're new, look out for more fantastic reviews. And just, yeah, I mean, just cherish the people around you. I know people tell you that all the time when, like, people pass away, but just cherish them, because you're going to end up getting people in life like Fran, who they're just amazing people, and you meet all these people and you become intertwined with their life and their experience, and then one day it's just gone. And I could sit up here fucking crying all day, crying all episode, but I know Fran wouldn't want that. Like, so I'm really glad her son told me that. Because I literally probably could have spent this whole episode crying and being upset, but I know that's not what she would have wanted. She's probably literally watching me right now like, hey, get to the show, bud. Like, I love you. I'm pretty sure she's saying that, dude. So, but yeah, the first topic we're going to hit for tonight, I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, because this has been making rounds in like social media, but I actually have the picture pulled up right here. Listen, there's been a lot of controversy over the last couple years. Well, I don't know if it's the last couple years, but I know within the last decade, people have always pointed out that Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriends are usually like on the younger side. They're never minors though, because that's obviously like, come on, Leo. But people made jokes about it, right? People have straight up like, oh yeah, he always dates younger girls and stuff. But like now we're in the day and age where like, bro, you can't just do that. Okay, social media, the Twitter mob, they're going to come for you, bro. They will. I kind of didn't want to talk about this episode, because there's no good way to land on this fence, right? I feel, and like, I think that's a good comparison. This topic is like trying to land on a fence, right? Most times you're not going to land on the fence good, right? You can land on a side, but to land on top of the fence, you're not going to do that with this topic. So I'm gonna try to hit this topic from both sides, right? Okay. One, they're two consenting adults, right? So if you are an adult and you as a society have said that an 18-year-old is an adult, at that point you can't control her, and you can't control the guy she's dating, right? As a society, we have said that, because let's say they make the age of consent 19, 20, 16, 17. Like, that's just a number that we made up. Mm-hmm. Like, is it morally right? I think that's what's actually in question, because the law could be straight up 16. Like, you're an adult at 16, you could date a 16-year-old. That's the age of consent, right? So would that be morally okay? So just because the age of consent and being an adult is 18, yes, according to the law, that's okay, but that doesn't stop people in society from looking at you weird, right? Like, that doesn't stop people from like clowning you and making fun of you, and he does have a history of doing this. Like, it's almost like he's afraid of like dating girls with a fully developed frontal lobe. You know what I mean? Like, because he doesn't date them past 24 or 25, and that's when people's frontal lobes fully develop. So it's almost like, hey, when you get old enough to like start questioning me, we're done. Like, come on, dude. But I wouldn't say Leo's on some like pedo shit, right? Like, absolutely not. Maybe he just has a certain taste, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't even say certain taste. Like, if you're like unbelievably rich, you're in movies, you're fucking Leonardo DiCaprio, why would you not just fuck as many young hot girls as you can?
I know, and people would probably say that sounds bad, but again, it's not.
I mean, he's what do you call it? What's the word? He's a bachelor.
Yeah.
If he's just a $100 million bachelor in Hollywood, like, why would you not just fuck as many young hot girls as you can? I mean, he's a what do you call it? What's the word? He's a bachelor. Yeah. If he's just a multi-million, $100 million bachelor in Hollywood, like, why would you not just fuck as many young hot girls as you can? I'm just gonna.
Sorry, he's not gonna date no Julianne Moore.
Yeah,
bro,
like, I'm just gonna fuck. Basically that.
I mean, if I was him, I would think about Aunt May from the Spider-Man Homecoming series, Marissa Tomei. Yeah, but I might break my dating young girls rule for. But okay, so that's the thing though, isn't it kind of a coincidence that he kind of breaks up with them after like their frontal lobe is fully developed? That's kind of like scientifically like that's kind of
okay. All right, so me and you do this a lot. So here's my devil's advocate version of what I think could possibly be happening. You know how you were just talking about dating being morally wrong with like an age gap and them being so young, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's not like actually dating them. Maybe he's just like
like
dating them because I'm fucking you, but like he's not like
actually in a relationship,
moving in with them and grocery shopping and making vacation plans and buying vehicles and signing deeds and
the second their frontal lobe develops, I don't want to play with you anymore.
So maybe when when they get to like that little 25-year-old gap or like ceiling that he reaches, maybe that's when like they want to settle down and he's not trying to do that. So he's just like, all right, cool, I'm not trying to settle down and date and all this shit. So I'm just gonna go find another.
He breaks it down to them like this, like, okay, so we can't date anymore. And she's like, what? He's like, okay, so we're gonna pack your stuff this way. Like, so like he's so older than him.
Maybe they just have like a fling, we're just gonna have sex and have fun. And then when I feel like you're trying to settle down, then we'll cut it off.
Most people,
which is kind of unhealthy, but I'm also not Leo, so I don't know.
Most of the girls he dates weren't even born when he was like in his 30s, bro. That's insane, dude. You know what I mean? But hey, again, this is a really, I wouldn't say it's a touchy subject, but there's a lot of gray areas that you can come across because, again, they're both consenting adults, right? If they're both consenting adults under the laws that we have made in this country, I mean, there's not much we could do. But again, as a people, we can judge, right? Like, there's always the court of public opinion versus the actual court. So yeah, of course that, bro, again, everybody's gonna come after him, and you guys have a right to. This is a free country. You can judge him, bro. You can. But I personally don't think that he has like a fetish for kids. Maybe he just likes women that are between the ages of like 18 and 25, dude. It's a gray area, bro. Like, I know people are gonna hella disagree with me, and I could have took the other side, right? Like, what if I truly believed that what he was doing was wrong? People would still say, but they're consenting adults. How are you gonna judge them? It kind of depends, man. Like when Hugh Hefner was doing it, like, bro, like, I get it, but like, that's a huge age. Like, I think there's a certain time when like the age gap is like, bro, what? Like, again, she's a
see. We can think that though.
Yeah.
But does Hugh Hefner care?
No,
does Leonardo DiCaprio care?
I really hope Leo doesn't care. As long as he's not dating minors and like being predatory towards little girls. Okay, so you have a thing for girls in their early 20s. Like, I personally don't see anything wrong with that, but it is kind of fucking funny how when the second they get their frontal lobe, he's like,
it goes back to what I was just trying to say though, is like, this guy's literally worth like hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, I'm not gonna settle if I'm him and I can literally have any girl I want. You're not going to Trader
Joe's to pick up bitches,
yeah, I'm not gonna go like settle for some middle-aged woman. I'm about to try to,
Yeah, because like think about it, if he wasn't like insanely rich and popular,
he probably would settle for those
hey,
people, right?
Leo, go to Trader Joe's, bro. But like, yeah, if you're like $100 million rich and like you could do whatever you want.
He's like a A-list actor, fucking nominated for the Oscars every year.
Which is funny because you see this picture that they put up right here of Pedro Pascal and the girl who plays Bella Ramsey. They put these two together to like compare the age gap. Which is insane because you mentioned off camera, like, yes, we see them in a TV show where their father, like the father type, daughter type relationship.
So that's why you look at that picture. So we think it's weird,
right? But that's crazy that's basically the same age gap as Leo and his girlfriend.
Also, me and you have had this conversation before where, like, she might be 19, but she doesn't look 19 whatsoever. She like legit
Bella
looks
Ramsey?
she legit looks like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah, well,
and then
she
the
looked
19-year-old
like
that like Leo's dating looks like she could be. She doesn't look like a 19-year-old. She looked like she's in her mid-20s.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey legit looks like a little ass kid, bro. Like, remember I was showing you pictures of Jenna Ortega from Wednesday, and she legit looked like a teenager, even though like Jenna Ortega isn't a teenager. So It kind of reminded me too of that girl who has a disease where she like legit looks like a little kid. I think I've seen her on TLC. But so basically this woman has like something wrong with her to where she looks like a little girl and talks like a little girl. And people have always debated that one too, like, hey, so is she not allowed to find love? Is she not allowed to like date guys her own age? But it doesn't that mean that like the guy's creepy for dating her?
There's a guy who's dating her, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. But like the mom had a problem with it. And like that's kind of what I wanted to bring up before we ended this topic is like this is like the reversal, right? Where yes, they're both consenting adults, but you're literally dating somebody who looks and talks like a little girl, bro. And you're sexually attracted to that. That's another gray area, right? So yes, the girl does deserve love, but now we're getting into an area where your boyfriend literally will date you knowing you look and talk like a little girl.
Yeah, for her case, 100%.
Like that's a fucked up
one, But you be
right?
saying that about like people who don't look like that at all.
Yeah, sometimes I try to rile you up, but
no, but like you'll say that about like Jenna Ortega, Ariana Grande.
I used to think about Ariana Grande, like, hey, if I guess
but like I don't think they look like kids.
No, Jenna
they're just short.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega's hella short, but
like Kim K's probably shorter than them. Like she's like 5'1" or 5'2".
That's fucking crazy short compared to me. So, but yeah, what do you guys?
That girl that you're talking about though is just like literally like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, and she talks like a little girl too. That's crazy. I mean, the mom had every right to be mad, bro. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? Especially like the Leo part, because I'm genuinely curious as what you guys think. So, well, speaking of Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, if you guys haven't, The Last of Us is great. I won't really get into much spoilers here because I want to kind of do that when the season 1 ends. But speaking of The Last of Us, a lot of people, especially with episode 3, they had a problem with the way episode 3 was made and handled because it didn't really accurately depict the game. They kind of went off track with that episode. So, like, I think this is the problem with anything, right? Just in like Star Wars, The Last of Us, Harry Potter, and we're going to talk about Harry Potter later tonight, but like anything remotely revolving around that, I don't think anything has, and unless I'm wrong, and you guys can like please comment below if I'm wrong, but like has anything ever been truly 100% adapted? Like it's hard, bro. You can't just like because like especially when it's a game, right? Because the game is just a game and it's not really like a TV show or movie, so you have to kind of add in filler or take little parts of the game and expand on it, right? So while I did like The Last of Us episode 3, I never played the game, right? So I can understand why someone who played the game wouldn't like episode 3, and I can understand why they would be mad, right? And a lot of those people who are mad, they get called homophobic and they get called bigoted, and I don't think everybody who hates The Last of Us episode 3 is a homophobic person, right? And because if you genuinely said, I don't like it only because there's gay people, then yes, bro, come on, right? But like, if you were to say, hey, I played the games, yes, they did hint in the game that the guy was gay, right? But they never actually were in a relationship. Their stories both end differently, and the game, goes along differently. Then yeah, you're not homophobic for saying that. Like that's such a crazy like title to just throw at anybody. Oh, you didn't homophobe, like this, like But so. I didn't play The Last of Us, so I liked the episode, right? And like, so when when the two guys started kissing, I was like, oh, okay, this must happen in the game. This is crazy, like what? Like he's like, is this your first time? Or I think he said like, this has ever happened before or some shit. And he's like, no. I was like, whoa. All I gotta do is give a guy a rabbit now, huh? That's no more fucking, but some lying too, but you know what I mean, but yeah. So like, I don't know what your thoughts are, Dustin, but like I think it's really hard to adapt anything to 100%, but it's like the same thing with Star Wars, right? So Disney's taking a lot of Star Wars properties and they're just adding a bunch of bullshit in there that George Lucas never did, right? So now like we're going to add Luke Skywalker a part of the LGBT community. We're going to make Lando like fall in love with the robot. We're going to, and it's not that it's a problem for me, but Disney does a lot of meddling, right? Disney like puts their hands in the pot and they'll take George's work and just completely fucking shit all over it. And then what they do is when we get mad as a fan, homophobe, racist, like they throw those labels at you because again, when you're online, you don't want to be called that, bro. Not only because like it's not good to be someone who's homophobic or racist, but like you don't want to be labeled that online. It's a big no-no, bro. So it's like almost a counter. It's like a counter action, right? Like, hey, if you don't like that we did this to Luke Skywalker, racist. You know, like it's actually a good counter attack if you're a piece of shit company. So that's just what it is. But from what I've seen so far, they consulted with the makers of the game, right? Like the maker of the.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that.
So
I didn't pay attention to that.
I mean,
like the.
I'm pretty sure the maker of the
that.
game didn't care though, and that's the point. And if you're mad about The Last of Us Episode 3 from Season 1, wait till you see Season 2, because the second game, like if you're mad that there's gay characters, wait till you fucking find out about season 2, which would be the second game. Which I'm, I mean, like it's like if you're mad about that, wait until you play the second game, because they just, I mean, if you're mad about that type of stuff, and I wouldn't, like, again, before we get off the subject, if you don't like the Episode 3, I don't necessarily think you're homophobic for not liking it. If you have good reasons, then you have good reasons. I liked it.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of the times when I see discussion about that episode, like, for example, this is like a completely made up conversation, but for example, someone would say, I didn't like this episode because this, and then somebody will respond and be like, oh well, that's homophobic, and then somebody will say, oh well, it's not because of them being gay, I'm not homophobic, it's actually because this happened and this was how the game went. And then somebody will counter argue that again and just be like, oh well, people are allowed to change things, it's not supposed to be 100% adaptive, just stop being a baby. Mm-hmm. So like you don't win either way. If you don't like the episode, someone's going to tell you why you're wrong for not liking it.
Yeah.
So you're kind of wrong no matter how you try to spin it.
Well, I feel like if the episode would have been about Bill and a woman being in a relationship during the apocalypse, I don't think people would have cared.
I think people still would have cared because it seems just like a waste of an episode. Regardless, if it was with Bill and a woman,
you think it would have been?
It would
more
just be
of a
like,
waste?
why is this an episode?
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads me.
Which it's not gonna be about Bill and a woman because, like you said, like they hinted at him, kind of, which I guess they showed that in episode 4.
Yeah, the magazine.
Yeah, because in the game, that scene is in the video. In the game, the scene from the show is in the video game where she finds the magazine.
I've seen the back-to-back where they compare it.
Yeah, so like that's what they chose to adapt to, and that's what I was telling you about. Is episode 1, episode 2, and I haven't seen episode 4, but I'm assuming from that, like in those episodes, that show got praised for how closely they adapted to the game. Yeah,
but they also they made Joel's daughter in the beginning like a light-skinned black girl. I don't remember, she wasn't that in the game, right? They did change some stuff that people should have been mad about. Like, why didn't you adapt? Why was his daughter a light-skinned black girl, huh? Like, if they're mad about that, then they should have been mad about that. But I didn't hear people get mad about that, though.
I don't know. Maybe it didn't have an impact on the story. Like, Joel's Mexican in the show. He's not Mexican in the game.
Yeah, Joel's
but I don't think
people
cared because
but Pedro Pascal in real life is,
Yeah, because it's not...
I don't know if Pedro Pascal is Mexican, but he's definitely from, like, the Hispanic community or, like, Latino community, yeah. So
I just don't think, like, that changed the story, and it didn't or doesn't. So that me personally, that's why I didn't care about, like, that stuff.
Well, I didn't even watch the show, so I don't have a fucking I don't have a leg to stand on in this one. So.
But yeah, the first 2 episodes, they're like, oh my god, this looks like the game, and they would put, like you said, they would put the stills of the game, and then they would show what the show looked like and like how they were so close to each other. And then the 3rd episode is literally nothing related to the game. And then when you say, oh wow, well, they didn't follow the game at all, but they don't have to. They.
Yeah, I
They can
did tell.
change it if they
I
want.
did
It's
tell
like,
you
what
that.
are we doing then?
I mean, I did tell you that, right? So I did say like, hey, if the creator is the one that wants to change it, then that's him. If he wants to do that to his own fan base and do all that, that's him. Like, but I was trying to compare it to Disney doing that to Star Wars, right? That's when people get mad. Like, you buy The Last of Us. Let's say like HBO bought the property, and then HBO just starts putting all this fucking like leftist type, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? What gets people hella angry online? Then I'm like, okay, bro, come on, guys, right? But if the creator's the one doing it, it's like, okay, like I have more of a leniency because he's the one that made the story, or they're the ones that made the story. So then I'm like, okay, that's their.
I don't think that makes it any better though, in my opinion. Because like if you're the creator and you're allowed to do what you want with it, sure. But I think to the people who played the video games and had like some sort of expectation of like the storyline, it's kind of greasy that you're just like, oh no, we're not going to do none of that.
But people are going to be mad when season 2 comes around. They're going to be mad,
Yeah.
bro. Like
my whole thing was, to keep it short, in episode 3, they didn't really follow this. I know it's like a background story, so they could literally do whatever they want. But spoilers, by the way. But like they killed him in the end.
yeah, and his partner doesn't die the way he's supposed to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the video game, he gets infected. He's trying to escape from Bill because he hates Bill, and he tells Bill that he hates him. He tries to steal his shit, and he tries to leave and escape. During that escape, he gets infected, and then before he turns, he fucking hangs himself. They find his dead body in a fucking random house. And
that's crazy, bro.
they find a note talking about, I've always hated you. I'd rather leave than spend one more day here with you, like that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen in the show whatsoever. It's like some notebook romance. If you're gonna die, I'm gonna die with you. That's not how they were.
Yeah, no.
And then on top of that, like you when you first meet Bill in the game, he saves Joel's life. Joel's hanging upside down. Zombies are fucking chasing him and coming after him. He's like trying to shoot, and you think that Joel's about to die, and then here comes Bill, just fucking shooting shit up.
Oh, gay ass shows up, popping stuff,
airing the fucking building out.
Shit.
Then they go on this like trek, to try to find parts for the vehicle, and the whole entire time that they're doing that, him and Ellie are like, chirping each other, and they have like this like, fun dialogue where they're just like talking shit, and you don't see none of that because Bill's fucking dead in the show.
They said like, oh, they hinted at it, and it's like a huge gay pride sticker on the back of his truck. It was just a hint, like you know what I mean? It's just
it's just like it's a whole arc that you just miss out on because they just decided to kill him.
Yeah, and see if you're mad about that's reasonable. Like,
and
you're
like
not
the
saying it's 'cause they're
first
gay,
quote
bro.
unquote boss fight of the game is he fights this bloater, is what they're called. He fights him in this school gymnasium, and you're like, oh wow, what the fuck? It's like this huge, like if you see the clickers in the show, it's like that, but like times 10.
Yeah, bloaters. I think I saw a thing on Twitter like explaining the creatures. And
And then Bill helps him, fight that in the school. How the fuck is he gonna do that if they killed him off? I don't know. They just changed way too much. I can understand if like they decided to switch the story and everything like that, but the episode kind of just gave no substance to the show.
Yeah, and
I've seen people say like, I've seen people say like, oh, it gave Joel a reason to keep going because he's, Bill, he would have done this for Bill, but like that's what episode 2 is about. Like, he fucking watched Tess die, then he's like doing it for Tess. So he didn't need that. Like he was already doing that.
That guy with the funky mouth was like making out with her and shit before she died.
Yeah, like
he was getting
getting
his legs in, bro. Like that was crazy.
Joel didn't need Bill to give him that motivation. Like he literally got that same shit from the previous episode.
Well, speaking of another controversy that's happening right now, the new Hogwarts game. It looks fire, by the way. You guys gotta stop fronting on this game. This game looks fire. Josh already got the game, and he named this guy Rubius Black. Everybody give a clap for Rubius Black. Let's go, dude. That's my new nephew. But no, I mean the game looks fire. So we're gonna have to stop trying to fucking play people, right? That everybody's mad because they think J.K. Rowling's a TERF. I don't really know the history behind that word, but they think J.K. Rowling's transphobic. Yada, yada, yada. So, hey, we're never watching a Harry Potter movie again. We're not ever reading a book. We're not playing the game. you know, hey, me and my boys don't fuck with J.K. Rowling, bro. You know what I mean? So that's just, but I mean, regardless of the woman's beliefs, the game looks fire. So fucking play the game, bro. There's a trans character in the game. Like, look at right here. I have it pulled up. All right? Harry Potter and appears in the same universe as Harry Potter, appears to feature a trans character, which would be the first for the franchise. All right? You guys got what you wanted. Okay? Right? I bet this only happened because of J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Right? Which, cool. We're in a world full of elves and giants and people like Voldemort with coke noses and mugbloods and, God forbid, people who can transform into cats. So a trans character is the least of my worries, bro. When there's people walking around who are giants. When there's people walking around who look like elves. And there's guys with half horse bodies running around the forest outside. And we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is cool to me. I don't really give a shit. Right?
How do they?
But we know why they added this person in the game, because J.K. Rowling, you know, and I get it, right? We gotta give it to the Quaidle. I said it like purposely like that, Quaidle. We gotta kick rocks to her. But regardless of what your opinion on J.K. Rowling is, the game looks fire. And let's just be honest, bro. Like, there's more things to worry about in this world than trans characters, man. I'd rather, and if I was in the Harry Potter universe, like, you're trans, cool, right? Because again, there's fucking dark wizards out there and giants, elves, and a whole buttload of shit. Pause. But that's just what it is. A huge buttload of shit. You know what I mean? But the game looks fire, bro. I don't know if you plan on playing it, Justin, but if you do, what house would you get into, bro? Come on. If you had the sorting hat.
I think everyone goes to Slytherin.
Yeah, Josh, of course. But Josh is Slytherin, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Ocho Slytherin. For those who don't know, Josh is a sometimes reoccurring guest on the show. Love him, but, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I mean? But I love him, but he's Slytherin. I think, honestly, Justin, I'm going to be honest with you. And you guys comment below. Justin, me and you are Gryffindor, bro.
You think so?
Yeah, we're Gryffindor kids. Come on. Me and you are going to the same house, too. Like, if the sorting hat try to make me not in the same house as you, nah, bro, we're the Weasleys, blood. You know, we all going to the same house. Josh fits in Slytherin, though. Like, the Slytherin way. Just a picture right now. That's Josh.
Yeah.
Emily's definitely a Ravenclaw. Because Emily's Ravenclaw. I would say, do you think we know any Hufflepuffs? Like, personally, do we know any Hufflepuffs?
I would hope not.
I hope not either. I mean, but I hope I don't know any Hufflepuffs. But yeah, me and you were Gryffindor. Like, before the hat even, Gryffindor! You know, like, you know. I don't want to, Josh was hella funny, too, because he does we were talking about the game the other night. He does the Voldemort, like, you know, like that. And I always wondered, like, hey, why do you say like that, Voldemort? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and he's like, turn me around and eat my guest. And, like, he's like a little fetus in the chair. And then the guy turns the chair, you know, it's like, he's crazy. That shit cracks me up, bro. Like, you can imagine hearing that before you die. You know? I don't know, but I'd be dying if I was about to die. Like, what? Did that just come out this dude's mouth, dog? But pause again, but that's crazy. But yeah, comment below, guys. Are you going to get the Harry Potter game? If not, tell me why. And if you are going to get it, tell me why you're transphobic. I'd like to know if you're good. You know what I mean? If you get the game, you're transphobic. So, and yeah, that is tonight's episode 103. Like I said in the beginning, love you, Fran. Thank you for all the good memories that we had. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it's just a tough day, dude. Tough news. But I still showed up because that's what she wanted. She would have wanted that, bro. She wouldn't have wanted me to not do an episode, bro. Fran fucking loves the show. And she would have said, hey, motherfucker, you get up and you do a show. Yes, Fran. You know, but... And that's crazy because I think I told you the story before this time, but she said she can astral project. Before she died, she said she would, like, astral project and shit. So I bet the afterlife's crazy right now. Whatever's happening to her right now, I bet it's fucking noodles, bro. So all this talk of, like, The Last of Us Episode 3 and transphobia and stuff, that doesn't matter where Fran's going. I'm telling you right now, she's probably on a roller coaster, like, in the heaven astral plane. And I bet it's fucking fantastic. So you enjoy that ride. And till next time, guys, peace.